A question that I did have though is, does anybody or is anybody familiar with any of the platforms being good for health spaces? A lot of times when I hear about tech, it's more on like the technical side of things, the business side of things, but not really healthcare. So I was just curious if anybody's heard of anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, Amanda, yet. Well, that's a lot. I've heard of a company. There's a lot of companies that I've heard lately that's been doing a lot of things with chart information retrieval. So it's funny. I watched a show called The Pit, and there was a lady who was talking about she has a recording that has the AI is recording the conversation she's having with a patient to automatically chart what the conversation they're having, chart the medical illness, pretty much all everything, every conversation that she's having in triage, the AI is making a transcript of this and then charting it for her. So I've seen I've talked to other companies at different different conferences that are doing that exact thing. And then one of the other things I've seen lately too, from when I was at a conference for NVIDIA, they had this company that's using LM models to help research and redefine medicine. So what they'll do is they'll put someone's illness within this model, and they'll apply the different formulas for this medicine, to this illness over and over and over again. So the model is just running over and over again to help make the medicine efficient. So that's one of the things that, and let me also show this too as well, because that's one of the topics that popped up on. So Microsoft had this blog, and I'm gonna send these links to everybody too. Let me actually send this link before I forget. Microsoft had this blog where it talked about the 7 trends for AI for 2026. And let me send you guys this link right now before I forget. There you go. And one of the trends was talking about how agents is going to help shrink the world's health gap. So right here, I was just talking about how the agents is going to help understand better symptoms when we talk about triage. And, like for people like us, when we talk about how we can advocate for ourselves, when we go to these doctor visits and we go to these, the emergency rooms and we have an issue, oftentimes, sometimes they don't really take us seriously, especially like when we say we're in pain. And this is just one more tool that we can use. Like, hey, I see that, I have these type of symptoms, and this agent is saying that it could possibly be these type of treatments that could to help resolve this. So I think that's one way that we can see AI is really impacting health organizations as well, Amanda.
Oh man,
Thank
I
you.
was one thing. There was a company I was working for called Sierra Technologies, and it's a guy by the name of Brett Taylor. He was a co-CEO of Salesforce, and he broke off, started a startup. And one of the biggest things we sold, was agentic AI tools, and how it was impacting a lot of the businesses. Like, I think that's some of your biggest businesses in the world. Um, they pretty much used AI agents to replace call centers. Which, if you think about it, every time you call a call center, it may cost the company like $10. AI agent, you could probably get it to do it for $1. And so when you multiply that by 500,000 people at a certain call centers for certain companies, it's a magnitude of, a large magnitude of order when it comes to how much money they can save. And so when you're calling into bank, when you're calling into just different companies and you're trying to get service and you're talking with someone in India or China, they're replacing all of those people with AI agents. The good thing about it is saving companies a lot of money to redirect in other places. The bad thing about it is people that are here in America that have those kind of call center jobs, primarily like a lot of minorities, are getting their jobs taken away. Like, companies are saving money. The experience that you get with the AI agent at that point is a magnitude better, because you're not dealing with tired people. You're not dealing with people with attitudes. It's an AI agent that works well, and it's able to actually solve problems, which is the biggest thing that's different from some of the bots you may have used in the past. It's actually talking to you like a human. It's actually solving problems right there on the phone, which helps companies make 10x more money in just every interaction. So I'll say that's one huge way, that even in the medical field, that I think it'll play a role. And to Juice's point, man, when you give me, it can help you with a lot of your health stuff. the tricky part of it is how are they going to use that information now? If you because you have to give up information to the AI for it to actually be able to track anything.
Yeah.
Like how are they going to use that when it comes to insurance rates? It's something that you got to keep your eyes open to, and then also how are they going to use that to also kind of hurt you. It's good and bad to both sides, and you just got to be careful.
Yeah, and
But
that's
that
what I
was a
was
good point.
saying. That's a great point, DC. And that's what I was saying about the local models. Like, so one of my coworkers now, what he does is he runs a local model and he connects it to his Strava and he connects it to, he has diabetes and he has the diabetes monitoring tool that goes into your arm. And so he connects that to his local model to give him suggestions on foods to avoid and like what exercising he should do. And it's so crazy because the LLM the agent gave him a message like, hey, you're trying to overcompensate by working out without changing your food habits. It's not gonna help you. And it was just like that's some stuff that you probably wouldn't, probably wouldn't get to, without having to pay for a nutritionist. So but yeah, to your point, yeah, putting it on the cloud local models is definitely they're gonna always try to take advantage and use our information. That's why I say local is always better. And to your voice comment, yeah, that's what we showed about. I think the last call we showed 11 Labs. This company that's all they're doing. They're doing voice AI agents, and it's really easy to set up. I set one up. It only took me 20 minutes. Yeah, it's going to displace a lot of people for work. But on the flip side, and this is the reason why I really wanted to have this call is because sometimes I'm in these conferences and all these people, all these managers, all these CEOs, they're all talking about jobs, how to replace people. Like, and if we don't take advantage of some of this stuff ahead of time, we can be impacted with this as well. And that's the reason why I wanted to have this call. So, even for example, like this voice AI platform, we all have different interests and we all have maybe side hustles or other main businesses that we have. For example, Drew, you're doing the woodworking, but if while you're out on the job working, as an officer, you might not be able to take a call. And you could build this voice agent that will can run in the background to take the call, take the information, and then set up the appointment based off your availability. So it's just another way for us to take advantage and make money off of it as well. Hey Amanda, go ahead.
I'm sorry. While DC was kind of talking, it kind of gave me another question. So, like, as we talk about agentic AI and like setting these things up, and we also, introduce the aspect of harm and just the verbiage and how the conversations are going. I don't know if any of you have, I've heard of hallucinations and it being a part of AI, but have you guys been able to kind of like mitigate when you create these agents or like just in the things that you're creating? Have you guys been able to kind of mitigate how it hallucinates or like prevent it from doing that?
Yeah, so hallucination is a big issue. And for people who don't know what hallucinations are, so going back to what we talked about with the LLMs on how it actually works, it's just making a mathematical equation and providing a response based off that algorithm, right? So it's pretty much a guess. So if you keep asking the LLM a question, if it doesn't know the answer, sometimes it doesn't say that. It'll just give you something made up because it's guessing that's the answer that you're looking for. So those are what we call hallucination is a very real problem. So Amanda, what a lot of companies are doing and what you could do for yourself as well is something called grounding. Grounding is where you provide even more information to the LM, to the agent, so that way the agent has reference to the question that you have. So what a lot of companies are doing now, and I'll even show this right now. Like, let me see. Like if you look at a lot of these new the updates like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, they give you the option to add files now. Add files and photos. This is because this helps prevent hallucinations. Excuse me. So if you're asking a question about, hey, give me a strategy of how to improve my career, and it might be able to look up in the internet to see who you are, but it might not have all the context of who you are. So you can provide a document on your skills and everything else, upload it to the agent, and now the agent will be more grounded on your questions, so that way it won't provide hallucinations. If that makes any sense, Amanda.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thank you.
No problem. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about today that's really been like a really big topic today. And I don't know if Paul's on here, but me and Paul sent me a video about this, and it's funny. I was watching another video about this. It's called Claudebot. Oh yeah, Paul's on. Hey Paul, do you want to talk about this? It's called Moltbot now, but
Dang, so I don't know if you have any like content you could share, but oh yeah, all right, say that. All right, so Maltbot used to be called Cloudbot. This thing is it's been like my latest obsession. And I think the reason is it's a localized thing. Let me try and think of an assistant, right? Or chat GPT, right, that you currently have on your phone. You have to go to an application to actually use it. What if you could take this, put it on your cell phone, text it, and then it can actually, instead of just talking back and forth with you, it can actually do things like it has legs and can run commands on your computer in the background for you while you're actually not using it. This is what makes that so powerful. ChatGPT and all these tools are very awesome because they can give you answers. They're like really powerful brains. They have all this context, this data. They can pull information, contextualize it for you. But the problem is today, for ChatGPT to begin doing stuff in an agent way, it has to be still done inside of the agentic portal of ChatGPT. Now, here's where that kind of goes to the next level. Um, with Maltbot, you can basically start running these commands directly on your home computer, and it can be running these commands in the background actively once you set it up one time with a local model on your computer. So it's really powerful stuff because rather than you having to go to a system, be trapped in the interface, and just go two-way conversation, this thing now can get up, operate, and do stuff for you in the background without you having to prompt it. And you can literally set it up like, WhatsApp chat and leverage the WhatsApp chat as your two-way talking interface.
yeah,
So this thing is really powerful. It's really cool.
it is crazy because like it's literally what we thought when you look at if you guys ever watch Iron Man or Marvels, like you see Jarvis and Iron Man's telling Jarvis, I need you to upload these files and delete these files and manipulate these files or whatever. This is what we thought AI was going to do. Now we use AI as more or less like, hey, how can I not sound crazy on this call? Like with this Claudebot, I think it's called Moltbot now, it actually can take action on stuff that's happening on your computer. And then some people actually make it so that way it runs 24/7 on your computer and you could access it on your phone. So you're saying if you're on Discord or Telegram or I forgot the other tools that they have, WhatsApp, you can literally
Yeah.
have a conversation with it and just say, hey, Bobot, I'm having a dinner with somebody. Can you set up a dinner appointment for me 2 weeks from now? Can you check the availability of the restaurant? Can you make, a reservation with the restaurant if they have open table? You can do all these things directly through this thing called Boltbot. Now, all this stuff is very, very new. But it's becoming really, really popular. And Paul sent me the video. Was it yesterday, Paul, or was it like 2 days ago?
Yeah. I was like, oh, you got call today. Send it.
My dog sent me the video, and I was literally watching another video about it was called Claude at the time. It's gonna change the game. Like right now, it's so super new that's a little bit buggy. And it also takes a lot of resources too as well. So what a lot of people are doing, they're buying MacBook Minis in order to do so. So if you don't have like because when we talked about again, when we think about all these different actions this AI is doing, that's very complex. So it needs to have a model that has a wide, broad of understanding. That means it has to have a lot of tokens. So like 30 billion tokens or 50 billion tokens. And go ahead, Brad.
No, 100%. So I think, what just said is huge, right? So like it's the worst it's ever gonna be. And this is where like a lot of us have advantages. Like I was watching something like AI, and what the guy says is the best asset you can have in today's generation or today's day and age is time. Because this stuff is so bad now, but the learning curve of getting good at these tools is really fast. Because if you're picking stuff up, when it gets to a place where it's good, you're gonna be light years ahead of all the people who are picking it up late. So something like Claudebot or Maltbot is so good because imagine, like you said, you have a Jarvis of your own, right? So one of the things I saw someone do with it was they set it up to do outreach for them, right? And they said, hey, I need you to go on LinkedIn. And they logged it into their LinkedIn, which technically,
You're not supposed
this
to do.
violates LinkedIn terms.
Yeah.
So let me put some out there.
Yeah.
But they said, yo, create this list, and then cultivate a personalized message, stuff like that, where it's able to go, it's able to pull and rip data, it's able to personalize it for each person. You can create a mass send campaign for your outreach or whatever. But the things that it can do today, I think of like, what's a really boring task you wouldn't want to do, but you necessarily wouldn't want to hire someone for, but you would just want it to call you when it needs your help and then go back to doing the task. So that's how a lot of the agents work today. And that's where Maltbot's heading. It's going to be able to do tasks, but across a broader range and set of tools. And you can set it up to be in your email, be in your text messages, your WhatsApp groups, like do communication for you. You could set it up to go scrape data and give you updated data and read industry trends in your industry and give you, hey, if you're making content, go make content of this today. Here are the top news stories. And I'll send them to you every day at 6 a.m. And so that way you have a newsletter that you can just go read and be up to date on what's current. Like the things it's able to do, while it seems minuscule, if you look a year down the road, the speed at which things are developing, this thing is going to be a tool. I think a lot of people are going to say, hey, I either need a terminal of this on my phone, I need a terminal of this on my computer, just so I can have this AI assistant doing stuff for me beyond just a normal chat GPT. And I would need a localized model to do it. So, which makes it cool is I can probably build out a local model to trap in my data set and allow it to just do things that I want it to do with my captured data.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, you made a
Okay,
good
so
point.
Paul,
Go ahead, Jess.
You have implemented this, or
oh no,
like it's proven? Like
it's
you
but like, so this is why I haven't put it on. And just now we were talking about this yesterday. I'm probably going to buy a Mac Mini to set it up on a terminal, but it's not an easy setup. Like today, because of the use cases of what it's used for, more people who are technical, you're seeing them really get the value out of it because, again, what we were talking about in terms of the learning curve. There's a learning curve to setting some of this stuff up. It's not impossible. There's step-by-step guides on YouTube that show you how to put this on your personal computer. And I do believe they have a web terminal that you can use as well. But I haven't set it up yet. So I've just been doing research on it for like 2 or 3 weeks where it popped, it blew up, it went viral like 2 or 3 weeks. And like a lot of these tools, right now I'm in that phase of just reading about it, watching as many YouTube videos about it as possible to figure out what are the use cases I would want to get out of it. And then once I figure out this is my use case for it, like one of the things I'm thinking about is aggregating my personal meetings and then aggregating my emails to identify like in my personal businesses an actual digital assistant. So I have assistants, but this would help them with a lot of my personal tasks and then text me when it needs my actual responses. So that's one of the use cases I see for my personal self. And then another one is outreach with data sets. So I have data sets on like these are all the lawyers in this state. So going through and identifying lawyers in a specific I'm putting myself out there in a very specific niche of law, and then saying, hey, like we're building out this project. We think you could be a good fit for this project around like LLCs that I'm working on, and it being able to help me with that outreach, aggregating the data, saying, hey, LLCs, here's a system that we can help you with in order to make that workflow a little bit more uh, streamlined. So that's some of the ways where I'm thinking, could this be an actionable thing that will work for me tomorrow? Or do I need to wait like for the next generation where it's more generally available to a noob like me and then I can use it once it's a little bit easier to set up?
And what's so crazy, you said a good point too. This is the worst it's ever going to be. So eventually, like this is like a huge like uphill to set it up. And it takes quite a while to set up because there's a couple things you have to like take in account of, like resources. You got to take account of security, and that's why a lot of people are using the MacBook Mini because it's a little bit more easier. It's separate, it's like compartmentalizing all the different stuff that you might have on your regular PC on the Mac Mini. So, but it's gonna get better. And then I'm gonna show another use case that's very similar to CloudBot, but I want to give people time to talk. Hey, go ahead, DC.
Bro, there was I think a police officer on the call that I was just thinking about, and a use case for like malt. I was looking at something different. It's kind of a competitor of Maltball, probably, but essentially, like if you think about creating like a police report or something like that, like you have body cam footage, dash cam footage, and all that kind of stuff, and usually had to generate a report. I don't know how long that takes now, but my dad was telling me it take like 30 minutes back in the day, like 45 minutes, generate that report. Now, if you have that footage, you just simply upload it to a computer. It could generate a report for you. You can go about your day and just make sure the details are good and go about your day. The future of this, how I see it, is like, man, I don't know if they're gonna eventually combine this with like the meta glasses where they can observe your daily life and give you tips on how to optimize your time, or maybe you're just looking in your refrigerator and you go to the grocery store and this thing can give you just feedback on like, hey, this is what you need if you've forgotten certain items. Like, hey, this is what you need. So there's all kind of use cases that I think this thing can eventually do. But I'm curious from Paul's perspective, like on a productivity side, on just outside of like a business side, just a daily productivity side, like what could this do for us today, the bot thing? And does it have to be on a computer and a laptop at that point? Could you put this on like any other kind of device?
So I do believe, because I was trying to see if a phone interface in particular is possible.
Mm,
'Cause I know you can text with your phone, right? So
mm.
the computer terminal is more so that you can have a live running model in the
Oh,
background
okay.
that is your personal live running model that you're interfacing with.
Yeah.
And it's in your, it's like, think of it as your, the easiest way I think of it is when you log into your company intranet, right? It's like a
Mm.
closed system. Think of Maltbot on a personal PC as doing that. It's your closed system.
Oh,
Um,
okay. So that's how I operate. Okay.
that's like the easiest way I could think about using it
Yeah.
because like there's security implications, but anytime you touch the internet, let me be clear, like your security implications are,
Out
they
the
go out the
door.
window because
Yeah.
once you're in an open, like an open terminal, it is what it is. But personally, one of the use cases I've been trying to do is finding ways with agents to do email management. Like it's the most simple thing, but it's one of the places where I struggle the most. Simply because I just get a ton of emails a day. So I get like 200-300 emails a day. So what I've done is I'm trying to create a closed loop agent, and what it does is it just reminds me when I have anything that's critical that needs to be reviewed. So I run it at like 7 in the morning, then I run it at like 8 or 9 p.m. at night. But what I wanted to do now is say like every hour, just run a scan on my email and then aggregate the top emails. And by noon, if there is something that is urgent, that is pressing, that needs to happen, I need you to learn. But if it's just
Got it.
normal stuff that can wait, go ahead and wait and then give it to me at 4 or 5 p.m. so that way I can finish my day with email instead of getting kicked off of my workflow and jumping into email. Because what you've seen is if you actually look at a lot of productivity data, email is actually one of the things that destroys flow and your work state on a regular basis. And it's because people have a habit of going for clicks. Meaning, if I go for clicks and then I see a notification, it's designed to get my attention.
Yeah.
Anything that gets your attention is designed to take you out of flow. So, what you want to do is say, I have structured time in which I do email. And in that structured time, I want you to come back and then remind me that. So, that's one of the ways I wanted to do. And then one of the other things I do is at the end of the week, I like to do like a recap of all of my core action items. So one of the ways I do that today is when I have what's that thing, Copilot in my regular job. Copilot is great because what it could actually do is it has a lot of my meetings that I've attended and it grabs action items, does summaries and stuff, but like that is only within a closed system inside of my job. The rest of my life still has that type of stuff that needs to happen. But the
Yeah.
other thing is, I'm not a big fan of all of my conversations being recorded, my life being on video. So the thing for me is just being able to create a OneNote, throw action items in there, and just have someone be accountable to remind me, like, you did not take care of these action items. Because the way I generally plan my day is I literally just take a notepad or a OneNote and I just write down all my action items for the day. And so in my personal life, that works. But a lot of times I'll forget. And if I don't remember to do it, I just don't get to it. So having a bulk bot to be like, hey, you have these text messages where you told someone you're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then also, did you go back and finish these other things that you said you were going to do?
Yeah. Agreed.
So those are areas where I think it's important for of productivity. Or I think it's a simple use case that once people actually set it up to work for them, I do think there's going to be value.
And we're thinking about this more or less too. We're only thinking about this in the realms of at our fingertips and PCs and stuff like that. But in the broad scale of things, like we look at what's happening now and how everybody, like a lot of these corporations, what they're really moving into is robotics. I tell people this all the time when I look at young kids. Before I used to tell them about coding, but now I'm like, hey, you might want to look into like electronics, stuff like that, because robotics is going to be where these things are happening at. And when we have stuff like Cloudbot that can actually take action and do things, I can see that being applied to even robotics at further along down the scale, probably maybe a couple of years from now, maybe a year from now. But I do see like robotics is going to be a big part when you think about how now these agents are really taking action. They're not just replying and giving you information. They're taking action. Like they can read your email and provide a response. They can take your email and then do a reservation for you. They're providing real actions to your real life. So I definitely think it's going to change a lot in the next couple of years. Like our lives are going to be completely different than what our kids' lives are going to be completely, or like the younger generations are going to be lives are going to be completely different than our day-to-day lives. Like even now it's been impacted. Like little kids now are like, hey, if I have a question, I no longer need to struggle or wait for office hours. When I'm going to school, I could just literally ask ChatGPT. So I think it's
Yep.
definitely going to change a lot how we move day to day, for sure, for sure.
Bro, the virtual tutor world is like a whole other world where we're seeing a huge use case of people just having agents to train them space by space, breaking down issues into smaller issues. So it like just said best, bro. Like your day, the way your kids' days are gonna look, the way education is gonna look, every facet of their life is gonna be much different than what we remember. Same way it was for us and our parents.
Facts, facts. Brad, you had your hand up. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, you kind of answered the well. You mentioned it, but because I started catching some watching some videos on Cloudbot too, and a lot of the people were talking about using Mac Minis. So I was kind of wondering if it was one of those type of applications that you need to have that's basically a local model that you have on a separate computer. But to answer one of the other gentleman's questions too, he asked about like one of the videos I saw, the guy he simply had it every morning at 6 a.m. it would send him updates on the weather. What I'm trying to get to is like, okay, because I'm trying to make some money in the stocks 2026 so I can quit my job. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get to the point to where I can get these models or these agents to go out, find, let's just, just to exaggerate, find the stock with the most upside uh, this coming week, or that's down a lot, but the fundamentals are good. Did that make sense?
No, it
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. I mean,
Yeah.
that's that everyone's trying to figure out that part out. The only issue that these models have now is they're good at doing certain activities. And again, this is like to Paul's point, this is the worst it's ever going to be. But now they still have the issue of hallucinations. So when we think about finances and we're thinking about, hey, yeah, we do want the bot to give us information at real time and tell us, what trades might be real. But then we probably don't want to give them the ability to make the trade, even though it can make the trade. Probably don't want to give it the ability to make a trade. Because a lot of it puts you in a short option, and now you go owe like $1,000, or $10,000. That is like, there's no way you can refute that. There's no way you can get your money back. So it's still in its infancy. But it can definitely help when things like that, especially when you think about research for stocks. There's a lot of people who are using that now just for research for stocks, like looking at stocks in real time. And to answer your question, when you think about the Mac Minis is just essentially so because a lot of people who are want to use Cloudbot, they're using local models. The reason why they're using local models is because the Cloudbot or the Moltbot is literally every time it's thinking, it's calling into a large language model. So you can connect it to ChatGPT or Claude, but then there's going to be a charge that happens every single time it's making actions. So even large organizations that have AI, that's one of the concerns is like, well, how do you control how many times it calls the model, how many times I'm being charged? Right now is non-deterministic. So there's no way to determine exactly how many steps, how many times it's going to call a model, how many times you're going to be charged. So that's the reason why the Mac Mini's become really popular, because it has a lot of space, it has a lot of RAM to be able to run these big, large models that we talked about that have large token sizes. So that's why, and it's cheap compared to building a gaming PC. Like I mentioned, I built a gaming PC, and I think at the time I built it maybe like 2-3 years ago. I think the total cost came out to maybe like 970 or 960. The same parts I looked up recently, like last week, the same parts would easily be $3,000 for the same exact parts, not the new updated firmware, new GPUs. The same exact parts are now close to $3,000. So the Mac Minis are actually a good deal if you're planning on running a lot of local models and taking advantage of some of the stuff that's coming out right now. The Mac Minis are actually pretty good. And Paul, don't waste time. It's going to be sold out.
Fair. Excuse my ignorance. What is a Mac Mini?
So
Think of it as like
go ahead, Paul.
think of it as like just a miniature square Mac terminal that is a smaller version of the full Mac. So MacBook Air, just think of the miniature version of a regular Mac, but it's cheaper. It doesn't have as much storage as a traditional Mac, but it's consumes a lot less energy than a regular Mac. It's something you can literally pick up, put in your backpack, and take with you places. So it's a miniature full stack computer that you
Yeah.
attach a desktop to. But if you're using for like Quadbot, you don't even really you need a screen, but think of it as like a portable computer you can take with you that's not allowed.
Yeah, it has no monitor, no keyboard, nothing like that. It's like a really compact computer that you can plug and play. And to Paul's point, if you set up Cloudbot has the integration to be on the internet, so you can like reach out to it via the internet. So once you set it up once, you could unplug the monitor and keyboards, and then you can reach out to it directly through your phone. And it runs 24/7. So if you're away from home, if you travel, go somewhere else, different country, you have some questions, you need to do some actions, you can literally reach out to it through, and I think they showed a list of all the stuff that's available through WhatsApp, through Discord, Telegram, Slack, Twitter, Gmail. Like you can send an email to the actual bot of steps that you want to do, and it's going to be able to do it via email, which is insane when you think about it. So Drew, yeah, that's why the Mac Minis become so popular, is because people are seeing like, oh, we can run all these different applications and models, and it's so small that it's not going to take up a big space in your house either, as well. One thing I wanted to show too. So CloudBot is one thing, and then we also have, sorry, excuse me. We also have, so Anthropic Claude just released Cowork, and it's very similar to CloudBot, where now it can actually build files and actually interact with your actual machine. The only difference is this one is it's a little bit limited on what you can do, but still it's just showing the fact that now you can use these models to do different things. So for example, before, if you had like 200 or 500 pictures and you need to change the type of picture it is, or you need to send an email, you can, or send these pictures by email. You know, you have to search for each picture, make sure each person that's supposed to be in the picture is being sent. You could just do all that with Claude Cowork. Like it has access to your laptop, and now it can show you information that's in your folder. So you're saying, hey, I'm running out of space, which is a common thing for people who have laptops. I'm running out of space. What's a large file that I can get rid of? It can go through and comb through your whole entire directory or folder and do it for you. So this is just another one similar to CloudBot, but this one is a subscription based. CloudBot is open source, which means 100% free. This is Claude Cowork. This is a $20 subscription per month. So if you use this, you can chat just like normal, like you chat GPT, but then you can also have it make actions towards your laptop as well. And these are just a few of the different things that I was talking about, that I wanted to talk about today. um and we have the latest trends, and what I wanted to do is, like, each week I want to send out a newsletter going over the new topics, because this field is moving so fast. And I feel like sometimes if you're not in the field or you don't use this on a day-to-day, you will have no idea what's happening. So I wanted to send out a newsletter each week of like, hey, these are some of the trending topics that's happening with AI, just so that we're aware and we're seeing how we can use it in our day-to-day lives. And again, I wanted to it's just a recap for people who join later. I started reading this book, ironically, from Paul has sent me this book, and it's called 12-Week Year. And I wanted to apply this to the sessions that we do monthly, as how we can structure this so we can actually, have certain goals that we can complete and that we can show progress on what we're doing with our AI journey. So a couple ways we're doing this is, learning the AI terminology and fundamentals. We're going to start building some AI applications ourselves internally, because we think about agents, we talk about Claudebot. This is all these different things that, hey, it's good to talk about it, but how can we actually do this? Like, how can we actually learn how to do this for ourselves? And then we're going to talk about day-to-day usage. We're talking about health. We're talking about finances, to Brad's point, finances, and as well like health. I believe Amanda and also Gassi, I talked about that too. And then towards the end, now we're going to talk about our progress. Like, what did we do well? Like, and this is going to be an individual thing, right? We're going to come together and talk about it. What did we do well? How did we use what tool? AI, was it good for us? Was it not good for us? Did we see any benefits to it? Did we see the extra benefits for everybody else as part of the group as well? And then we went over AI terminology, and then I had some latest news, open forum topics, stuff like this to share with the group. But yeah, that's what I had for today. But I don't know if there's anything else that anybody else wants to talk about before we wrap up for today. I appreciate you guys joining, because it is 7 o'clock at night. And we're not spring chickens, so I appreciate you guys doing it at this time. But is there anything else anyone wants to talk about? Go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, I kind of had a question. Kind of just thought about this because as a beginner person, I know that some of you guys on the call, this is kind of like your world. So you guys are immersed into this 24/7, constantly. So my question is more so tailored to like when you guys go to these conferences or, you go to these meetings and things are introduced to you that you don't know anything about. What are some like ways that you guys find that are useful for you to immerse yourself in what is new, basically?
So I can take a stab at this one just because um, I think Juice is much better at like getting deep into some of this stuff. Like when I say he's good at this, I'm like, I'll come send something to Juice. He'll know about. I'm like, how do you know about this stuff? But I'm a junkie for a lot of this stuff. So what I do is I just get on ChatGPT as my first stop there. I don't even use search browsers. I just do ChatGPT now. So I don't Google things as much, but I'll do like in my ChatGPT, they have a teach and study feature. So I do a teach and study, and I just try all these tools. So anything that has a free tier for, I have like burner Gmail accounts that I use for nothing but trying out these AI tools. And it's like a burner account. I use it. I set up a tool, and I'll just try it, and I'll try and expand it for the day. So how much free use can I get out of it in a day? And then that's just my way of like playing with these tools. And then YouTube, I YouTube a lot of like the shorts, 3 to 5 minute videos on these things just to kind of get what are the quick notes, and then let me just go play with it, see how it works. Because the thing I learned is watching the video doesn't help. Just trying and testing and playing with the tools gives me way deeper of an understanding of like, oh, this is how it works. And it's a lot simpler than I thought it was. So that'd be my answer.
And thank you, Paul. That's actually pretty great. And one of my things is, I think, is Notebook LLM. That's one of the things I really like to use, because going back to, we all learn things differently. Some people learn visually, some people learn auditory, and some people learn by actually being hands-on. I'm more to the latter, and I'm more auditory as well. Visually, I suck at it. And so if someone's showing me something visually, unfortunately my brain just shuts off. I stop listening, so I can't do that. But Notebook LLM has been great for me, because Notebook LLM, I could just, if there's ever a topic and there's a PDF out there or a book out there, I can just drop that book in here and it'll build me a podcast. So there's like, I think there's some right here. This one has some like, so it builds a podcast, and these agents just starts talking about, it just starts talking about the topic.
All right. Let's talk
and
about.
it's pretty cool because you can just download these. You could just download these notebook LLMs. You could download the notebook, put it on your ears when you're driving to work, when you're driving to the grocery store. That's how I usually learn it. Learn a lot of stuff and adopt a lot of stuff because we have busy lives. So sometimes when I'm like either like cooking dinner or you know, man, like we're going for a walk, I put this literally in my ear and I'm able to like learn and absorb the information a little bit quicker. So that's just one way, but you know, you got to figure out which one might be best for you. But there's definitely a lot of good tools out there for all of us to take advantage.
Okay, thank you. Just an FYI, all of our discussions are going to come in this format from now on. Just so you know this, okay?
Oh, you talking about me, us personally? Okay, yeah, cool, 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 cool. Yeah, no pressure, no pressure. Anything else from anybody else? Hey, thank you for joining, Kendi. I think I saw you, Kendi, a little bit earlier. What up, Dave?
Yo,
What's
what's
up, brother,
up?
man?
See you, Wendell. You guys have any topics you guys want to talk about before we drop?
Not offhand, no.
Oh, I do have something. Oh, so there's one more things I want to show you guys. And this is really in particular to you, Ken, as well. So Ken, we was talking about, you know, we're breaking this into like a 12-week plan for these monthly calls, and what the base 44 recently, and I want to show you something as well. Let me see if I could. Where's OBS so I could show it to you. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Maybe this. Sorry, I'm changing. Let me share my screen of something different. Okay. So, so Base 44 is a way to build applications using LLMs, and you can use it by just talking. And but the thing with Base 44 is all the stuff is online and you can't really manipulate some of the files. It's like you're really just having this conversation with it. But there's something called continue that you can use with when we talked about last time we talked about using local models like from Olama. There's a way now you can use the local models because the biggest issue is when you're trying to use like some of these AI code editors, it's always a cost. And that's the thing that comes down to if you want to use something on the cloud or you want to use it locally, it's a cost. But here I was able to build like literally I was like, hey, I wanted to build so the thing that we watched, let me do it this way, screen like this. So literally this website right here was built using this. I literally just went to VS Code. I connected to the local model that I already downloaded earlier. The local Olama model I downloaded, which is Quen. And then I just literally connected to the VS Code, and I'm able to now ask it to build this website. And it built this website literally in 5 minutes. And I have this web page here directly right here where I could work on, use, and it's free. So I can do multiple different iterations of this website. I could build iPhone apps. Think about like sometimes we have an idea in our mind and we're like thinking like, hey, how can we build this idea? But now you have to think about I gotta find a developer, I gotta find someone who could do marketing, I gotta find someone who can do visuals. This can literally do it directly at your fingertips for free. So I'm gonna definitely send you guys the information for continue. Let me see if I have it actually on one of these tabs. Oh, there we go. It's right here. It shows you the exact steps on how to do this. And it's really cool.
Nice.
But yeah, you can build and Kenny, I'll look at the app that you sent me earlier. I had checked it out a little bit earlier today. But that was strike the idea of me saying, hey, you know, and when you talk about, hey, we want to build agents too, like everybody on the call is talking about, hey, we want to build agents, we want to be able to use agents to really help our day to day. We can also use tools like this that'll help us on the coding aspect of it that we might not understand. We can use these tools as well. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have for this monthly's call week. I want us to be more interactive in between these calls. So I'm definitely gonna be sending more messages through Discord. And man, I don't know if you had a chance to send. Let me actually send it right now. Let me send the Discord invite for
No, I couldn't
everybody.
figure it out. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, that's no worries. Let me set it right now. So, the reason why I set up the Discord is just so that way we're not spamming everybody throughout the day. So let me see if I can send this invite. No, I can't do it. I feel like a boomer using some of these using some of these things. But anyways, I'll send it to the oh, I found it. But yeah, so on the Discord, we're gonna start sending out more information within the month, like what's going on, and if there's some things you guys are using too that you're trying to work on or build or use, and you need a little bit of help, definitely want to set this up as more of a community so that way we can talk to each other. So we have any questions or we need any help. Like I said, we're all in different industries, so we all can come together and help each other as well to reach this goal. So. But I appreciate everybody for joining the call. Again, I know it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock now. You guys stay for like an hour, so I thank you guys all for joining. And yeah, this session will be stored on YouTube for us to review later. If you guys want to share with any family or friends, or you guys want to watch it, no problem, Galson. And thank you, Jess. If you guys want to watch it or review it a little bit later, all the links and everything will be on YouTube. And then yeah, reach out to me on Discord if you have any other questions. Have a good night, guys. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks. Good night.
Appreciate you.
Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
guys.
See you guys. Bye.
Thanks. Good night.
Oh yeah, thank you everybody for joining on YouTube too.